The valve cover off, we're replacing the solenoids as they are leaking internally. There's oil all in there. All four actually are leaking, so as soon as this side is done, we will move down to this side. So we're just going one at a time, keeping everything organized and clean. The key is to keep this valve cover really clean, and then the gasket is going to be installed. There's no oil should be present in these crevices because there's always going to be a potential for an oil leak, because the way oil creeps between oil and rubber, it makes a path where it can go. The problem we had was these spark plug tubes were starting to get deteriorated, so yeah, we just keep it on this paper so we don't mar the finish. We want to protect this. That is it. So there was a total of 2 issues. One being the solenoids were leaking. The other one is we had one spark plug tube seal that was leaking oil into the spark plug area. But you can see all that oil. Let me see if I can turn on the light to show you. You can actually see where we had this one out. You can actually see all that oil build up. Let me see if we can shine a light in here. Yeah. There it is. You can see all that oil in there. Engine oil. Pretty much the internal solenoid fails and it makes its way back into the solenoid. That's actually an issue with a lot of different makes. Not only Ferrari, Maserati, Porsches. It can happen to a lot of different cars because the way the system is made. These solenoid variocam adjusters are internal of the head here, and they vary the timing. That doesn't help either because they're going to get heated up and expand. You can see right here. That's going to allow the oil to bypass the internally sealed sections and makes its way through the wiring, and in the worst case it gets it into the main harness to the main computers and can damage them. Cover gasket, we always do it with clean hands. There's no oil residue or anywhere, and of course these areas it's going to be RTV. We use dry bond that we're going to put in the corners, that way there's no leaks, and also any areas that have timing cover mating to the surface of the cylinder head. This is off. I'm not recording installation process because it's very tedious, so I don't recommend getting this job done unless you're a qualified professional. This is just for demonstration purposes. But this is what we do to remove the solenoids, get everything covered up so it's nice and clean. You don't want to get any debris in the engine. Everything has to be cleaned prior to disassembly to keep everything from getting dirty. So now the valve cover is back on, brand new gasket. The most challenging is to get the solenoid harness fittings to go through. You got to actually slip them in as the valve cover is lifted about this high. So and then there's clips that lock it in place. Both valve covers installed. The new coils installed. And everything connected. We cleaned out the connectors really well to get all the oil out of the solenoids. And time for the intake portions to be installed and be ready to go. Back on. New gaskets, both sides need to be replaced always. Next step is going to be the other side, and then once we cover everything up, make sure we don't get any debris or trash in the intake plenum system. And then we're going to put the throttle body and gaskets. The intake's assembled. We always smoke test all our intake systems on every car, so make sure there's no vacuum leaks or anything like that, that the vehicle is airtight. That's a very important test because if there is vacuum leaks, you're going to be running lean and can damage engine components or catalytic converters, exhaust, oxygen sensors. that is it. Time to put the intake pipes back on and the throttle bodies, and they'll be ready to go. Alright, so we have this 599 finally complete. We did the valve covers, we did the leaks that it had from the spark plug tubes. If you come over this way, the original problem was when we started doing the spark plug job, the solenoids that adjust the vario cams, they were actually, all four were leaking internally. That's some of the most common issues with the Ferraris, 599s, 430s, 360s. That's a known issue. So when it starts to leak through the solenoid, you can start having a lot of problems. This particular one is already finished. We went ahead and did the spark plug tubes. We did the gaskets, replaced the lines, replaced everything while we had the intakes off in the previous section that you can go back and rewind and see. We also did exhaust mod. Man, that thing sounds so nice now. I mean, it didn't even sound like this before, and I actually fell in love with it now, because before it was a nice V12 note, but it just did not have this amazing deep type of throaty sound. So I'm going to crank it up and let you guys hear it and rev it up a little bit. Tell me what you think. Drove this car, so it's fully warm. So we're going to rev it up a little bit, because you don't want to rev these on cold, despite what you see on the internet. So here's the sound. That's amazing. That is a very nice sound. So I just wanted to finish it off with that. So this is the car now. It sounds like a beast. Amazing vehicle. I really love this car. So, again, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.